welcome to the American Massage and Chiropractic Conference pre-conference broadcast series on One Concept Radio. I'm Felicia Brown, and I'll be your host for this interview and series. This is one of several broadcasts with the presenters and experts who are appearing in Atlanta, Georgia, May 17th through 19th, 2013, and who are brought to you by One Concept. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 2013 American Massage and Chiropractic Conference sponsors, Massage Warehouse Script, MPA Media, the Chiropractic Leadership Alliance, 100 Year Lifestyle, Mindfluence, ABMP, BioFreeze, and Massage Envy Careers for making this year's event possible. Our special guest today is Dr. Dan Yachter. Dr. Dan and I will be talking about his contribution to the class, Connect with Your Passion and Focus on Your Message and Purpose with Troy Dukowitz, Matthew Norton, Dan Yachter, Lyle Coca, David Fletcher, and Sharon Gorman. But first, let me tell you a little about Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan Yachter is a co-founder of Elevation Health and operates one of the most successful practices in the world and has been in practice for over 10 years in Lake Mary, Florida. Today, Dr. Dan cares for tens of thousands of patients each year at his state-of-the-art wellness center, complete with an organic raw cafe, as well as numerous educational workshops on nutrition and other relevant health topics each month. He is co-founder of Elevation Health. The vision of this company is to ignite the healthcare revolution one family at a time. Dr. Dan is also the author of the recently published Doctor of the Future and a world-renowned chiropractic expert and speaker. Dr. Dan, welcome back to the American Massage and Chiropractic Conference pre-conference broadcast series on One Concept Radio. Thanks again for making time to talk with me about the event and your class.
Very excited to be with you guys, and I'm excited about the event, May 17th through the 19th.
Well, we're really glad that you're back with us again, and I do want to learn more about your class and what you'll be speaking on this year. But first, I'd really like to get your thoughts on the idea of creating community. And I know this is something that you already do with your own practice, so your thoughts are going to be really helpful on this. But this year, part of the focus at the conference is the idea of creating community by adding a community room where attendees can visit with speakers more personally and learn more about how they themselves can make a real difference at home and then in our profession. So, Dan, I'd like to know why you think it's important to create community in the chiropractic and healing arts world in our practices or businesses and at the conference.
Yeah, I think when I think of the word community, I think of culture. The word culture, that's another word that comes to mind. And when I think of those two words, of course, what goes along with those two words is leadership. When when you're inspired with a vision, when you have a big mission of changing and saving people's lives and improving people's quality of life, that stirs something in you to become a leader. When you have a message inside of you, it charges you with an obligation to get your message out there when you know it can improve the lives of others. So in doing so, what occurs as you step up, as you become a louder voice in your community as a healthcare provider, as a chiropractor, in our specific case, what starts occurring is you start not only being looked at as a leader, but also you start creating something special inside of your office. Inside of the four walls of your office. And this is really what we talk about a lot. We teach on, we have systems to really harness the power of a leader who has a big vision, who understands his or her mission in the community, and a way to really structure that in a systematic way to have maximum impact. And again, rather than just being, your typical image of a clinician, who's just doing your clinical duties, and you're just kind of in your little kind of cave inside your clinic. You put your shingle out. What we teach is that you have a message that's life-saving, life-changing, that's adding massive value to humanity in the way of quality of life. You need to become vocal, and you need to become a strong leader. And in doing so, your practice for the community becomes kind of like the epicenter of health and wellness information, of leadership, of trust, and of transformation. But without a structure, without an infrastructure, without a system, without automation, without order to that, it makes it very difficult and chaotic. But when you have the right things in place, It really allows you to be maximally effective. And in doing so, with all of this being said, there's a culture, there's a community, it's almost kind of like teamwork that's created between you and the patients. It's almost like you're the facilitator, where the patients start living this lifestyle. They start changing on their own, but they also become loud mouthpieces. They become an extension of you, and they go into the community and they become influencers. And so now what you have is this whole big thing that's stirred up, where you have whole communities that are changing for the better, that are becoming healthier, that are living more vibrant, healthy lives. And, the quality of life of one individual, as that improves and they start improving others, the quality of life of an entire community improves. And, of course, spread that out to a macroscopic vision, the health of a nation, continent, and the world starts improving. And that's kind of our vision. And that's what we communicate to patients, to doctors, because we understand what our responsibility is. So in doing so, again, going back, and I know this is the reason for the call and also the reason why we've been invited out to speak again, Elevation Health, is because we've seen way too many excited, passionate chiropractors and healthcare providers just have this huge heart to improve the lives of their community, but without structure, with lots of chaos, they burn out rapidly, and they never really fulfill their potential.
So then, and there's so much about what you're talking about. I know we could talk for hours about it. And I guess where I want to start for people listening, because I'm sure there are some burned out chiropractors and other professionals listening in, what's the biggest thing that causes that?
The biggest thing that causes that, in general, I would say that the chiropractor kind of feels, or again, let me keep it general, because I know there are a lot of different types of healthcare, many different areas of the healing arts that are listening. The bottom line is that the person feels like they're doing it on their own, they're doing it alone, or they're trying to figure things out. They're a lot of us in the quote unquote alternative world, we're somewhat renegades. We have to be somewhat of a maverick. We don't have $64 million per day in our marketing budget like Big Pharma does, like the established allopathic mega industry. And so they can, they have all this gigantic, economic political machine behind them. So in that profession, you're not necessarily alone, but, for what we're trying to do, bringing a different type of message to the community, it takes a tremendous entrepreneurial spirit, but in that, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because a lot of practitioners find themselves so headstrong that they end up finding themselves by themselves, trying to pull the whole thing up the hill. And what happens is that without the right systems, without the right structure, without the right continuity educational programs, without the right marketing systems in place, without the right systems in general across the board, there's physical fatigue, there's mental fatigue, emotional fatigue. Education is vital. It's critical. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a chiropractor, whether you're a massage therapist, whether you're an acupuncturist, whether you're in any other type of natural healing art, you have to understand that education is number one. That people aren't necessarily buying the service, they're buying the understanding of what they're doing when they get the service, the why behind it. And if they're getting that and they're getting continually fed with an understanding and the value of what they're getting, which is, of course, part and parcel of that understanding, then they keep coming. They build their lives around it. They cause health to be a major big rock, as Stephen Covey used to say. This is a big boulder in their life, and they make it so. So retention in these types of practices, retention goes up. A lot less energy in terms of acquisition. So that's a big burnout factor right there, where you're constantly struggling to get new clientele or recruit or to sell to new people, where, if you would have just had the right educational systems set up, driving value, it wouldn't have been as hard keeping what is coming in. And that can create a lot of burnout as well. That's unsustainable. So again, the thing that creates fatigue, in general, summarize, are practices of any type that, they don't have systems, so they're unpredictable, they're not reproducible, they're unsustainable, and then the practices who do have the systems, it's otherwise. It's actually the exact opposite. They're having fun, there's freedom, they can get downtime, they can relax and recharge when they need to, all the while knowing that there's loyalty, there's buy-in, there's value in the minds of their clientele, and their clientele will perpetually utilize their services because their understanding is deepened on a week-to-week basis, on a month-to-month basis, with multimedia type of information and education.
Well, I remember when we talked the last time, you made it almost sound like your clients and patients, they just want to come hang out at your practice. And, it's almost like, I don't know if I would call it a cult following that you have, but people really are drawn to your clinic. So I'm wondering, what people can do or what you would suggest to help them create those lifelong evangelistic patients like what you have.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Elevation Health it's a group of doctors. There's over 20 offices right now. It's gonna be right now. It's what it's rolling out as. It's kind of like the Starbucks or the Remax or the I hate to use the word McDonald's. It's a dirty word, but it's kind of like it's going to be on that level. Elevation Health, where our culture creating system where there's never been anything like it is going to be, it's spreading right now. So 20 offices, and that's what Elevation Health is. It's a system of practice, and it's even more than that. It's a way literally of transforming the planet through our system, and I can unpack some of that later on. But this is what we do: is we create evangelistic patients through our system. So regardless of the environment, I have a 100% cash practice, and there are plenty that are out there. Mine's not the original one. So there have been thousands of practitioners, chiropractors who've been 100% cash in very insurance-rich areas, in insurance-poor areas. But nonetheless, it's happened. It's been done, and a multi-million-dollar cash practice, I might add, that I've had, and that I still have every day. I practice, and so the way that's created in our Elevation Health system is through again, creating these evangelistic patients. And so again, the thing that's the burnout factor is that the doctor's trying to create it instead of the system or the atmosphere of the system molding or creating that. And years ago, use the word like cult-like. And years ago, I used to get offended when people would say that. And some people would walk in, and from an outsider, they'd come in maybe initially, and they'd say, hey, I like it in here. I'm getting results. It's pretty cool. Maybe they were a new patient, and one of their comments were like, it's kind of like a cult in here, and they'd kind of say like tongue in cheek. And I kind of resented that. But after all, I'm like, no, that's a cool thing if it's positive and constructive, because within that word cult, if you just added URE at the end, you'd have culture. So that's so there's a fine, it's not too far away from culture, but if a cult is a group that has a certain belief system, and again, there's always kind of been a negative connotation of that word, but it can also be positive, because medicine's done a great job. The allopathic profession as a whole, or big pharma, has done a great job educating the country and the world on the fact that there's a total need for medications, and not only that, there's an absolute need. It's a requirement that every person, by the time they hit 60, there's something wrong with you if you're not taking multiple medications. They've literally convinced the general public of that, and I know that for a fact because these are the conversations I have on a daily basis. So that's definitely cult-like, but in the wrong direction. And so again, so one of the ways, let me just kind of dig down a little bit. One of the ways that we, create that cult-like, that following, or the culture, or this incredible environment, these evangelistic patients, is again, like I mentioned, regular feeding, nourishing in the way of knowledge and information, equipping people so they feel empowered to begin taking control of their own lives when they're not in the offices, and they're starting to live a different lifestyle when they're not in your office. And so what's happening is that you're just kind of, you become more of like a coach, a facilitator, rather than an episodic type of scenario in their life. So medicine is like event-driven, episodic. You have an ear infection, you pop in to the doctor. They give you, of course, an antibiotic, which many studies have shown just make you worse, obviously. And but we won't get into that. But so that's what I mean by episodic or event-driven. So for us, our culture promotes this journey, this health journey, this wellness journey. It's an ongoing journey where they're living it, they're growing, they're learning, they're transforming, they're feeling empowered, they're getting equipped with knowledge where they're taking control of their life and their health, and they're understanding that they're not going to be a victim, that they're a victor, they can overcome because they have right strategies and knowledge. And so one of the coolest places that we do that is our flagship event, the Elevation Health flagship event, which is the Advanced Spinal Corrective class, where we're educating them on a lot of different things. We're sharing knowledge and resources on advanced healing concepts, on activities of daily living. We're sharing with them about things in regards to spinal health and spinal rehab and how to get their spines healthier. But more than anything, at that class, they learn to communicate and transmit what they're doing in your office, what they're doing in our Elevation Health offices, the purpose and the why behind what they're doing. And I'd say here's the crux of it all. And if they're getting this, if the patients in particularly a chiropractic office are getting this, then they're really starting to move in the right direction. What it boils down to, here's the crux. What we're teaching them, and this is, a natural health concept, although it's, we get a lot more specific in chiropractic, we're teaching them to acquire or to start moving in the direction of a belief in their body's amazing ability to heal itself, this innate force, this innate wisdom inside of their bodies, this great physician that created them, that made them, that formed them, that's still inside them, that can cure them and heal them and sustain them and restore them, and that the key to being healthy and staying healthy and living a healthy lifestyle is continually being focused on removing interferences to this innate healing force and power in their bodies. And as we teach on this, they fall in love with this understanding. They begin to live it. They begin to live life without fear and life with a knowing that they are powerful. They are empowered because they have this amazing, spectacular, exquisite intelligence inside of their bodies. And it's available, it's accessible to begin mending and restoring and then keeping them healthy and helping them acquire the quality of life they want. That health and healing does not come from outside in, but from inside out. Not from a pill, potion, lotion, or spoonful of medicine, but it comes from the innate healing, recuperative powers that their makers placed inside of their body. And so as patients start understanding this, and some people listening to this right now may say, well, of course people know that, don't they? Of course they don't, actually. I would tell you that as simple as that may sound, the simple things were typically placed on the earth to confound the wise, as the good book says. And people don't know that in the community. It's not that they just don't know it, but it's been hid from them, or their minds have been focused on an allopathic outside-in approach to their health. And believe it or not, this understanding liberates them, it frees them, it excites them. And there's a whole curriculum, there's a whole teaching curriculum that we have set up month to month, week to week, where we deepen this understanding, we deepen the value for these principles and concepts that we're teaching them, and that's what they're buying ultimately. They're buying an understanding, and these are the underpinnings of the system, and again, the continual education, but them acquiring in the beginning of care the why, developing value for why are they coming to you, what are they getting, why are you different, delineating, making a distinction as to why you're different, what you're doing is different, and that, quite frankly, they're not going to get what you have from popping a pill, from a quick fix. This is a long-lasting, sustainable way of taking care of you, your family, your children, your babies, and everybody around you, and also them understanding why it's so critical for them to go out in the community, not only to live it for themselves, but to be evangelistic and to spread it to other people. Why? Because people are perishing for lack of knowledge. They're taking medications they don't need. They're going for surgeries they don't need. They're living in sickness, pain, torment, and dealing with illness that they may not have to live, and their lives are being shortened, and their quality of life, and they're not living out all the years that their Maker designed them to live. And it's our responsibility to our brothers and sisters to get this message out there. And so it's this high level of communication that is baked in to all of our processes, our system. At every turn of the way, every process, procedure, protocol has within it these elements. There's structured education, ongoing, structured, systematic, automated, and this is happening in an automated fashion, I might say. So the doctor isn't pulling this uphill every day. They're not burdened with making it happen. If they don't make it happen, then it doesn't happen. No, there's got to be things that are driving this that are helping to produce it on a day-to-day basis.
Well, Dan, I know you've actually talked about it a number of times, and if people listening haven't figured it out, I know that you're really here to make sure people see that putting systems in place is one of the biggest things that they can do to create a successful, high-profiting chiropractic clinic, or really in any business. I mean, the system is the key. And I wish we had lots and lots of time to talk about it, but that's what your class is going to be for. I know hopefully people are going to register for that. But for people who can't make it to the class, I'm hoping that you can share a tip or suggestion, something they can put into place today on how they can improve their practices right now.
I would say the number one way to improve the practice in whatever area they're in, whatever healthcare arena is share your heart, share who you are. Okay, pretty much any healthcare practitioner, the chiropractors that I meet, at least, they got into chiropractic typically for all the right reasons initially. They have a huge heart. They start off with a huge heart. They know what's inside of them, and many times, typically, what they'll do is they'll not express it. They'll not communicate. The patients will never know truly how they feel about what they do. Or about what they want to see. So communicate your vision clearly. Communicate who you are clearly. Don't be scared to communicate your passion and show your emotions and show who you are and be transparent. That's principle number one in success. Be transparent with the people you take care of. Let them know who you are, what you stand for, what's inside of you. Is it scary? Yes. But let them feel that in the way of communicating to them. Written communication, video, audio, however it is that you need to communicate, tell people who you are, because the pain and the fear of regret of people not knowing who you are or being incongruent in your actions and your words and your being, that's far more painful than being transparent and letting people feel who you really are and knowing who you are. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, it's liberating when people really find out who you are. Sure, can you polarize some of the relationships? Can you polarize people? You know what? It sometimes happens. People find out who you are. They're like, oh, that's not really who I thought that person was or what I was getting. Well, that's fine. At least you'll magnetize the people who are in alignment with you, who want what you have, who want who you are. And those people, because they're resonating with you in the right frequency, because you're walking in integrity, you're speaking, and all your actions are congruent, that's going to magnify that relationship, cause excitement, buy-in. It's going to cause better engagement, and because of that, there are going to be more referrals. There's going to be higher retention. That's the best place to start. From 100,000-foot level, from the big picture stuff. Start with that. That's number one. And I'd say, a tip or a suggestion would be easy place to start. This is where I started. When I really felt this way, and I knew I had to step up and become the leader, that was congruent with the leader inside of me who I wasn't showing the community. The first thing that I did is I sat down on my computer and I wrote a letter to my practice. And I said, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I believe. This is what's really inside of me. This is the conversation here's the conversation that I had with my family that I wish I was more courageous to have with the community. And to this point, I have not, but I have to open my heart. And this is who I really am. This is how I feel about you. This is how I feel about the community, about changing and saving lives. And I need your help. I need your help in getting this message out to more people. I'm more committed than ever to helping you and your family, but we need to get this message out. And I just wrote a very open letter. And just starting with that simple action right there. And then, there are millions of action steps. you can take to improve the culture and improve the success of your practice on every dimension. But that's a good place to start. Being transparent, that's the first law and rule of success.
Well, Dr. Dan, it's obvious that you share your passion and your heart with everyone in your practice, and I know you have today. I can see how easily your clients have been cultivated by, if you will, by your words and your excitement, not to mention the great healing modalities and tools that you provide for them. It's just really evident. I know that people listening are excited and captivated by that and are going to want to come to the conference and see you, but in the meantime, they may want to find out more about you and about Elevation Health. How can they get in touch with you or find out more information about what you do?
Great question. If they went to elevationhealth.com, on there's a way to get more information, to register and to have a representative get back to them. They can tell them that we have a video they can watch regarding Elevation Health. They can learn more about it. It's a phenomenal organization. Like you said at the beginning, we are committed to igniting the healthcare revolution, one family, one community at a time, and that's our vision for the planet. So they can learn about it. If they went to elevationhealth.com, requested more information, they can get it that way. I'll also give my direct cell phone number as well. They can call me directly. My cell phone is 407-687-9573, 407-687-9573. And myself and Dr. Jeff Steiba, who also works with Elevation Health, he can also provide them with information. And that's the best way to find out about it. And also, anybody listening, they're always welcome to visit one of our training offices, my office. So that opportunity is always available. But again, I left the phone number there, or the website, elevationhealth.com. That would be the best way to find out about us. And it's a phenomenal organization that provides maximum support, mainly to chiropractors, but of course we'd be willing to speak to any natural healthcare provider.
Fantastic. Well, I know after today's broadcast that everyone listening is ready to come to the conference and to register for this class. Connect with your passion and focus on your message and purpose with Dr. Dan Yachter, Troy Dukowitz, Matthew Norton, Lyle Coca, David Fletcher, and Sharon Gorman. Dan, thank you again for taking time to be with us today and for choosing to be a part of the 2013 American Massage and Chiropractic Conference. We are very excited and honored to have you back at this year's event.
Thank you, Felicia. I really appreciate the opportunity to be interviewed today, and very much looking forward to Elevation Health. We'll be out there with bells and whistles.
Fantastic. And for those of you listening, I want to just now take a moment to make sure you know how to be a part of the conference. The American Massage and Chiropractic Conference is one of the largest exhibitions of massage and chiropractic products, continuing education, and business opportunities for practitioners of both disciplines. This year's conference will feature over 100 exhibitors, continuing education classes of 1 hour, 3 hour, and 1 day workshops. Other events during the weekend include Friday night's famous Facebook meet and greet, where the theme is disco, and then the One Concept Gala on Saturday night. The new conference value pass is just $87 and includes access to all 1 hour CE presentations, the trade show, contests, events, community events, and more. And this year, we are also introducing the One Concept Pass, your ticket to full conference access. The One Concept Pass is just $349 or $299 if you purchase early. And it includes full-day technique, business, and philosophy sessions with Steve Hoffman, David Fletcher, Troy Dukowitz, Lyle Coca, Dan Yachter, and Sharon Gorman. Half-day radiology with John Taylor. 3 hour sessions with Eric Plaster, Guy Reichman, and Dennis Buckley, and 1 hour classes with Kira Bailey, Steve Weininger, Matthew Norton, and more. And CEs are included for chiropractors. Also, the One Concept Pass covers lunch each day, as well as access to the trade show, the chance to participate in special events, community opportunities, and contests with literally thousands of dollars in prizes. For students, the conference offers a free student day and Smart from the Start program on Friday, May 17th, which is sponsored by Massage Envy, Massage Warehouse Script, BioFreeze, and Bonvital. This day is dedicated to massage and chiropractic students who are currently enrolled in school or who will graduate in 2013 and includes access to our opening session and trade show on Friday. All of this is happening at the Sheraton Atlanta, and I definitely suggest you make plans to stay there if possible. Single or double rates are $129 a night, but space is limited, so make your reservations now. Also, MPA Media is printing the American Massage and Chiropractic Conference event program inside their magazines, Massage Today, Dynamic Chiropractic, and Chiropractic Insights. These will be given out at the conference and distributed throughout the U.S. to over 133,000 practitioners. So if you are a vendor or educator who's listening in today and you want to get some great exposure for your class or product, contact MPA Media for details on being a part of the conference program. So if you're ready to register for the 2013 American Massage and Chiropractic Conference in Atlanta, and of course to meet Dr. Dan Yachter, myself, and the other amazing instructors, just go to oneconcept.com to access the conference schedule and register online. We also invite you to stay connected with us on Facebook at facebook.com/American Massage Conference or /American Chiropractic Conference. Again, the 2013 American Massage and Chiropractic Conference is made possible by all of our wonderful sponsors. Thank you so much to Massage Warehouse Script, MPA Media, the Chiropractic Leadership Alliance, 100 Year Lifestyle, Mindfluence, ABMP, BioFreeze, and Massage Envy Careers. This is Felicia Brown, and on behalf of everyone from the American Massage and Chiropractic Conference and One Concept Radio, I want to thank you for tuning into this edition of the pre-conference broadcast series. We look forward to seeing you in Atlanta in May. Please also consider joining us later this year for the American Massage, Chiropractic, Acupuncture, and Spa Conference in San Diego, California in September, and the Canadian Massage and Chiropractic Conference in October in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a fabulous day.